Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to sit down and do a first impressions and wear test for you guys on the new Huda Beauty Full Filter Luminous Matte Full Coverage Liquid Foundation. So I'd asked on my community tab if you guys wanted to see a first impressions and full wear test on this or the Dior Forever Matte new foundation. I think it's new. Or if you're just like not interested in either. And like 30% of you guys said that, but this actually got almost half the votes, like 48% or something like that. So I figured I will just sit down and do the Huda one for you guys. This was sent to me PR, full disclosure, but they did not ask me to make a video on it. This is not sponsored by Huda or anything like that. They just asked me to try it out and put a review on Sephora, which I will do after this first impressions and wear test. So yeah, that is what we are going to do here today for you guys. Before we get started, don't forget I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday for you. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It helps push my videos out into the humongous world of YouTube so more people can discover me and my channel, which I would absolutely love. And other than that, if you're excited and you want to see a full day's wear test and first impressions on the Huda Beauty foundation, then let's go ahead and get started. So I'm actually really excited to try this. I tried the original one like 3 years ago, and I remember being insanely full coverage, super duper matte, very fragranced. And I know this one is not fragranced, which is really awesome. I'm really glad Huda decided to listen to her audience, and people were complaining about the fragrance being so strong, and she took it out, which I'm really excited about. They sent over the shade Angel Food Cake 110N. I don't know if you can see that. I'm a little nervous because I think this is going to be slightly too light for me. They said because of high demand, they didn't have, I think I normally would be 120 vanilla. So it's only one shade lighter. I'm afraid it's going to be a little too light, but we're going to try our best to make it work. A little information on the foundation before we get started. It is a life-proof, flawless filtered finish. It's supposed to be waterproof, super long wear, 24 hours. I'm not testing it for 24 hours, but I'm hoping I can get in like a 10-hour wear test for you guys. Transfer-proof, fade-proof, sweat-proof, and humidity-proof. It retails for $40, and I think I counted right on Sephora's website. I think it comes in 38 shades, and the shade range seems to be pretty wide, so I was really happy to see that. Don't mind my hair in this portion of the video because after this I'm going to film a how I curl my hair tutorial, so my hair will be looking a lot cuter for the check-ins and all of that. And then also before I started filming, I went ahead and did a really super simple eye look with my Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. Literally 2 shadows. All I did was put this Karma shade in my crease and then put this Gold Glitch shade all over my lid. But yeah, let's just put this on. Let's just put it on, see what happens. I am going to use a primer. I have to, especially considering this is supposed to be like a really mattifying formula. I know it says luminous matte, but I've seen some reviews on it and it's still like a matte foundation. So I want to put on a hydrating primer underneath just because my skin just needs it. It really does. I know some people don't use primers on like foundation wear tests and all of that, but if I'm gonna give this foundation a fair shot and see how I like it, I have to have a hydrating primer underneath. So it comes in the same component as her original foundation did. You get 1.18 fluid ounce, and it's a 12-month shelf life. So you do get a little bit more than normal. A standard foundation size is 1 fluid ounce. You get slightly more. So it comes with a pump, which is really nice. I have already pumped it out just to look at the shade, but I haven't tried it yet. So on the box it says using 1 to 2 pumps, apply foundation evenly all over face with a dense brush or a beauty sponge. So I remember this being really full coverage. So I'm gonna try 1 pump and just like see what happens. I don't know if that's gonna be enough, honestly. I like full coverage, but this is very full coverage. It's definitely a more like thick, whippy consistency. It's not like liquidy or runny at all. And yeah, there's no scent, which is awesome. I personally didn't mind the Huda scent, but it was very strong. So I'm just gonna dot a little bit on the side of my face. I don't know how fast this dries, so I'm just gonna do this little bit. I'm gonna use a sponge. I always use a sponge. I really never use a brush to apply foundation. Okay. So that definitely dried pretty quickly. I'm glad I only did that one little section. I mean, yeah, I guess there's some coverage there. I wouldn't say this is like insanely full coverage, but let me add a little bit more. Yeah, 1 pump is not going to be enough for me personally, but I also tend to just wear a lot of foundation. Yeah, this isn't giving me like crazy full coverage. Okay, so that one pump is now gone and I just did like my 2 cheeks and it's really not crazy full coverage. So I'm gonna add another pump, go from there. I'm gonna put a little bit on my forehead. I tend to need less foundation on my forehead, so this should cover this. It covered up that zit right there pretty well though, so that's good. Okay, so it's looking pretty good on my forehead, if you can see. It definitely had coverage up there. I'm gonna have to add a little bit more onto my cheek, so I just dabbed my beauty blender into the foundation on my hand, and we're gonna add another layer on my cheeks. This actually, the shade match is really good. It's not too light, I don't think at all, which I'm really happy. I actually kind of forgot I didn't think it was my shade until just a second. I was applying it and yeah, it looks good. Alrighty, so I got the foundation all blended into my skin. So I put 1 layer on my forehead and then 2 layers on my cheeks. So I like it so far. It's definitely not like blowing me out of the water. It's definitely not like my favorite foundation right off the bat. I don't think it has insane coverage. I mean, you can still see my acne here, some redness on my cheeks going on. It does look slightly drying even with the hydrating primer underneath, like this area, but that's kind of like always where I look dry. Let me give you like a close-up. So that's what it's looking like on my skin. I just really remember the first one, the original one, being just way more full coverage than this, and I don't know if it's because I used more then, but I used 2 whole pumps of this one, so, but it doesn't feel too heavy on the skin, which is nice for it being a more thicker consistency of a foundation and for it supposedly being like insanely full coverage. It doesn't feel super heavy or anything on my skin. It's definitely still tacky. I would definitely set this. This isn't one that like dries down. I almost always set my foundation though, so I didn't really think I wasn't going to set this, if that makes sense. I do definitely see my pores here, but that can pretty much be alleviated with like a pore filling primer. So maybe next time I try this, I will use a pore filling primer with it. It definitely has a little bit of shine and sheen to it. Like I get the luminous matte aspect of it, but again, I did use a hydrating primer underneath, so that might be like this shining through a little bit. I don't hate it, but I don't love it right now. I am going to go ahead and do concealer and powder on camera for you guys so you can see how the foundation works with those 2 types of products. I am going to use 2 Huda Beauty products because I figure they should like all 3 work really well together. So I'm going to go in with the Overachiever concealer in the shade Marshmallow first. I think I'm just going to put this under my eyes. I don't want to mess with the coverage around my face as much as I want to add a little bit more coverage. I don't really want to mess with it because I want to see how the coverage holds up throughout the day, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to put a little concealer under my eyes. I have a feeling the foundation will work well with it, but I guess you never know. I really want to add more concealer. I'm adding a little bit of concealer. Sorry. I know I just said I wasn't going to do that, but I need to cover this redness down here a little bit more for me to feel comfortable. Okay, so yeah, that blended perfectly fine over top of the foundation. I had a feeling it would. And now we're going to powder our face using the, this is a really long name, the Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. I have the shade Cupcake. I'm going to try to really lightly set my face because this is a more mattifying, you know, foundation. Okay, so this is what we're looking like with a primer, foundation, concealer, and powder on my face. The powder definitely made it a little bit more dry looking, but you know, it's powder, so that kind of makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup off camera. I am gonna put a setting spray on it. I don't know which one yet. I will come back on and tell you all the other products that I use. So let me go ahead and do all that, and I'll come back on and show you my finished makeup look, and we will go from there. All right, guys, so this is the final look. Before I tell you the products that I use, I totally realized that I completely forgot to tell you a time check-in. So when I stopped recording and started like doing my makeup, it was 10 o'clock. So I know I don't have anything to hold up to show you that because I film on my phone. I know I had it on a little bit before all of that, but we're just gonna call it a nice even 10 o'clock for our check-in time to make it easier on myself throughout the day. So really quickly, the rest of my makeup, everything seemed to blend very nicely on top of it. My bronzer got slightly patchy, but I just had to like blend it in a little bit longer. I don't know if that was the bronzer or the foundation, or maybe I just didn't set it enough. I've came to the realization that when I try to like lightly set my foundation, sometimes things can get patchy over it because it's not as set as I'm used to, if that makes sense. But really quickly for bronzer, I went ahead and used my Jouer Light to Medium Duo. I really love this bronzer. That's why I picked it. I know it's a good one that I genuinely enjoy. For highlight, I use my Nabla Skin Glazing Highlight in the shade Ozone. For blush, I use my M Cosmetics Heaven Glow blush in the shade Faded Clementine. Then for brows, I use my Huda Beauty Balm Brows in the shade Light Brown and my ABH Clear Brow Gel. For mascara, my Marc Jacobs At-Lash Mascara. I think the only other thing I did was use my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I know some people don't use setting sprays and all that when they're doing first impressions and wear test, but I feel like if I'm going to give you my genuine thoughts on a foundation, I need to prep it and use it and all the good stuff that I normally do, and I need to wear it like I normally would wear it to let you know my full thoughts on it. So I did use the setting spray on top of it. I didn't put a lip on yet because it's 10 a.m. and I haven't eaten breakfast yet, so I'm gonna go do that after this. So yeah, so far, it's not my favorite, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not the worst. Like, it's looking kind of rough here around like my mouth and nose area. Looking kind of cakey, like on my little nose crevices there, and looking just slightly dry on my forehead and everything. And it does look like it's kind of going in my smile lines a little bit so far, and I just put it on, so I don't know if I love that. We're gonna, you know, wait and see how it wears. I'm not gonna prematurely judge it or anything. But what I am gonna do is move my camera, and we're gonna go over to the window and show you everything in natural light. There's not a lot of natural light to show you in because it's Ohio and it's gray and freezing here today, but we're gonna do that. So let's go. Okay, I'm pleasantly surprised. When I shut my blinds to start filming, there was no sun out, and now there is sun. So that's exciting. So this is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera steady and it's hard. So this is what it's looking like in natural light. There's my humongous new ring light. I don't know how I feel about it. It's literally massive. I'm deciding. Anyways, distracted. This is what it looks like in natural light. I'm gonna really zoom you in so you can see. Hopefully you're in focus. So yeah, like I said, it's about 10 o'clock. I will be back in a couple hours to show you how it is wearing. See you then. Alrighty guys, so it's 3 o'clock, so it's been about 5 hours since I applied the foundation, and it's okay. It's looking okay. It's definitely not my favorite foundation. Right now, it's definitely looking pretty oily on my skin, which is funny because it's supposed to be a matte foundation. Yes, a luminous matte, but still matte. So let me bring you in, show you how it's looking. It's starting to break up a little bit on my chin and going into my smile lines a little bit. And it is looking a little crepey along my nose, kind of all the places that it was looking kind of funky earlier in the day. It's just being emphasized and looking bad still, if that makes sense. But here is what it's looking like up close. I don't know, I mean, nothing's faded on it or anything like that, like my blush and highlight and bronzer, but yeah, it's just in my T-zone, which is the, you know, part of my face that gets oily and does give me issues anyways. It's not looking the best. So we are going to keep wearing this, obviously. And yeah, I'll probably be back in another 5 hours or so to give you my final thoughts. Alrighty friends, it is 8 o'clock and I am back for my final check-in. I've had this foundation on for 10 hours, 10 whole hours. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't put it through a ton of the test. It said it is waterproof. I did not really test that theory. Super long wear, I test like 10 hours of 24. I say that's a pretty long time. Transfer proof and fade proof, I definitely tested that. I didn't really fade, like none of my products on top of it faded, but we did go pick up food for dinner a couple hours ago, and I did have my mask on for a little bit of time, and I definitely don't think it's transfer proof. What are the other claims? Sweat proof, I did not test that because your girl hasn't worked out since the pandemic started. And humidity proof, it was freezing cold today here in Ohio, so I definitely didn't put it through any humidity sort of test either. Okay, I don't know how I feel about it. So we were driving to get dinner, like I just said, and I told Mike, I turned to Mike and I said, you know what? I had a really productive day today. I got 2 videos completely filmed, edited, upload, scheduled on YouTube, all of the above. And I was like, I have another one where I have everything edited up until my final check-in. And he was like, what's a check-in? And I was like, I'm doing a foundation wear test on this foundation. And he looked over at me and he was like, it looks pretty oily. And I was like, yeah, you're right, it does. I don't know, guys. I don't think I like this foundation. So let me zoom you in and just show you the tea, because it's kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. Look at the chin. It's like completely gone on my chin. It's like really dry and cakey and flaky on my nose here. It's definitely gone into my smile lines. It looks really crusty on my nose crevices. That usually doesn't happen on with foundations with me. It looks just very like on my forehead, really just like flaky, and then the whole thing just looks real oily. So is this my favorite foundation? No, definitely not. I have had it on for 10 hours. That's a really long time. That's a really long time to have a foundation on. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Will I ever wear this foundation again? I'll try it again. I will. If you can see here, a little bit of my makeup came off from my mask strap, and I really did not have my mask on very long at all. We just went and picked up food, so I had it on for like maybe 5 minutes. But like, it just looks so like bad here around my nose and like this T-zone area. So I'm definitely gonna keep trying it. This was only the first time I ever wore it. Maybe it just didn't pair well with the Pretty Fresh primer or the Charlotte Tilbury, you know, setting spray. Maybe like that definitely altered it. I guess that's why people don't wear primers and setting sprays on foundation wear test, because then they don't know if it's the foundation or the primer or the setting spray. I understand that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it looks that good. I mean, the red, like it didn't really fade here on my cheeks. I mean, I guess it did a little bit. But like my bronzer, blush, highlight, they're all still on. That didn't really fade. I feel like that says more to the bronzer, blush, and highlight than really the foundation. But I don't know. I just don't think it looks that good. Like, I keep having to remind myself I've had it on for 10 hours. That's a really long time. But I don't know. It's just looking real rough. It's looking really rough. So I don't know if I recommend this. I don't think I really love it. I am going to keep trying it out. It was a nice, you know, shade match for me. I think it blended in nicely. I think it wasn't really as full coverage as I thought it was going to be, so I'm definitely going to have to keep testing that. Other products wore well with it. Granted, I did use Huda Beauty products, so I'm going to have to definitely keep trying and testing out other brands with it, but like upon my first initial reaction, upon like how it looks right now, I would not really recommend it to you guys. But yeah, it don't look that good. It does not look that good. So yeah, those are my thoughts. That was my wear test. That was my first impressions and 10-hour wear test of the Huda Beauty New-ish Luminous Faux Filter Luminous Matte Foundation. What do you guys think? Have you tried this out? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below if you have tried this, what you think about it, if you had this sort of reaction or wear time on it where it just really broke up and looked oily and bad on your skin, or did it work really, really well for you? I would love to know down in the comments how it wore for you. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.